My name is Seada. I'm a weaver. I use my thread to tell the stories, great and small, of our people. Stories like the one about a child who saved our valley. The story of my son, Echo. Life gave him many things, except the sense of sight. His ears, though, reveled in the legends I loved to tell him, the same ones I turned into tapestries for our village's temples. His favorite was the one about the serpent god that came down from the sky to lay a sacred egg in the heart of an ageless tree, the mother tree. But despite the beauty of the legends, the world was forgetting the gods. Soon, word came of a man from another valley who was raising an army to claim, steal, and enslave. This was no legend, but a brutal reality that hit our village among many others. Echo was still a child. One day he went to play outside and never came back. Ever since that day, I've searched for him, called for him, cried for him in vain. Still, there may be a way, a hope, and it started with one single thread. Somewhere, Echo was dreaming, and the stars, who are the daughters of the night, knew it. From up here we see everything, they said. Weave the bond that unites us, and we'll lead you to your son. Trying to stay my trembling hand, I drew the path that was to lead me to Echo. I hadn't seen him for weeks. It was my face. Echo was dreaming of me at this very moment. My son. One star was enough, and your story would start. So this was where my son was, imprisoned, quietly sleeping in a cage. It wasn't the starting point I was expecting, but it was time for him to wake up. Who could have trapped him? Despite the shock, Echo was still imprisoned. A big rock was blocking his path. As the teller of this story, I had some small power over this world. The power to help Echo when I could. A rolling stone gathers no moss, but it easily catches bumps. This was only the beginning of Echo's troubles and of the difficult path that was going to make him a new being. That star had invited itself into my story. So much the better. It would most likely have a role to play in it. One of Echo's first challenges was a bridge. A bridge that had abandoned its purpose ages ago. The star, at least, seemed to know where it was going, and Echo only had ears for it. In the fresco, a pilgrim placed their hand into the sculpture's mouth, a trial of trust. Echo found a mechanism in the mouth of Talak, the stone head. Beyond this stream began the sacred lands. Only pilgrims had the right to enter, but the star didn't seem to care. This is how, 1 century later, a freshly hatched pilgrim was about to tread upon the sacred ground. Feeling the beaten-down grass against his legs, Echo understood that something had made us stop here before moving on. Something big. My son approached the temple with confidence. He loved the old stones that told many stories under his fingers. The trackers had set up camp here. Their hunt was long, their prey resistant. Spears? Weapons were forbidden in the sacred lands. The door opened on a sound only Echo could hear. The star was waiting for Echo to step out, but this door wouldn't open by itself. Echo was finally free. Something important was to happen. It was there, so close. The breath that resonated in the valley. What the star had wanted him to see. It was an Amlak-Ebab, a snake god, a star harvester, a life carrier. The one from the legends I had told my son so many times. And this god was dying, pierced by the spear of a man. Calmed by the child's presence, the snake let itself go. This was the first time Echo witnessed a death and a birth. For the serpent had left an egg. Serpent gods traveled the universe, harvesting with their scales the memory of the sky. From this memory, an egg was born. They then came to the sacred lands to lay the egg, called Enkalal. It was a gift of life, and my son was holding it in his arms. The egg of a god. An egg god. What a burden for such a young child. What to do now? Which way to go? The egg seemed to have an idea, but it needed a support to express it. One only had 4 senses. The other seemed ready to break at any moment. But their fragility was now shared. And there it stood, just like in the scriptures, just like in Echo's dreams, the Temple of Isa, the gigantic home of the Amlak-Ebab, the serpent god, who would never return there. Bells. It was a melody. The temple had reacted. It too was sensitive to music. It had already been a long way for Echo. The temple obeyed the egg, which it knew well. Echo wondered if he would ever see it again. Wait, thought Echo, shaking. What's in there? A hero, said a voice. And it's you. You are who I need. Don't be afraid, thought Echo. You're a big boy now. The egg hadn't reappeared, but Echo still felt its presence. Where had it gone to? Echo had many qualities, but not yet the power to. One of these columns was trying to look more solid than it actually was. Mechanisms woke up after a very long sleep. The egg was there, safe and sound. It could have broken so easily. The fate of Echo, the egg, and the temple was sealed. When placing the egg, Echo realized that a legend carried a significant weight. Since the disappearance of the star, something else was guiding Echo, pushing him forward. Was it the egg itself? Was it conscious? What a weird pilgrim, thought Tala. It was better, sometimes, to be shaped like a blade of grass than an egg. "You're pretty heavy," thought Echo. And the egg answered, "That's not very nice." Echo was stunned. "You're talking." "Of course I'm not. I'm an egg." "But I am thinking," thought the egg. Echo realized that thanks to the egg, he wasn't alone. And despite its weight in his arms, that made him feel lighter. A thousand echoes resounded in the boy's ears. "The temple is immense," he thought. "And we need to get to the end of it," added the egg. Something important had just opened, but Echo couldn't reach it. These things, they seemed to live here, taking advantage of the temple's abandoned state. These hunting weapons were actually war weapons. Something was moving down below. It sounded like a nest of small, dirty things. Another trap. The lever to open it had to be somewhere here. These things came from the nest. They flew away from Echo like shadows in front of the sun, so he named them Shadows. The shadows would quickly come back for the egg. It was shining in their world of darkness. These shadows were relentless, but not very solid. Chain appeared, but the shadows were coming for the ankle arm. Could someone please throw something at them? Asked the egg. The trackers who had killed the serpent god, were they still here, raiding the temple? That symbol on the ground. Echo had already passed one like it, outside. In the sacred lands. The egg told Echo. These frescoes tell of the coming of a leader whose voice was as strong as 100 bells. This was the beginning of your valley's decline. In the fresco, villagers were looking fearfully at a dark figure dominating them. A dark god, said the Enkalal. Echo couldn't have seen this trap. Only I could get him out of it. Echo recognized the sound of the shadow's steps. "Don't let them take me," said the Enkalal. "It would be the end of everything." "These frescoes show the dark god's feast," said the Enkalal. "His appetite is infinite. He can devour the world." "These frescoes show the death of my brothers," said the Enkalal. "This has happened before. It will happen again." What we see often hides what we need to see. A useful symbol is hidden here. afraid at that moment, far from there, sensing the shadows gathering around my child.
I felt a bit lonely with these shadows around,
said the egg when Echo came back to pick it up.
So thank you for coming back.
There's nobody here? Asked Echo. The monks abandoned the temple after a great misfortune, replied the egg. Then the valley's inhabitants forgot it ever existed. A door had just opened on a now familiar stone face. The Amlak Ebab, my father, sadly thought the Enkalal. His golden seal will show us the way. Far above Echo, a flagstone had just slid open. Something was coming up from the deep. Hidden steps. Another set of stairs presented itself to the pilgrim. You speak well for an egg, suddenly realized Echo. Aren't you supposed to be a baby? Echo was climbing up. This made a lot of steps, and a great void below his feet. Inspired by the Enkalal, my son was moving forward, carrying in his arms the future of the world, walking away from childhood. Far from there, his mother was wiping her tears. These stairs show the way of Kaf, said the Enkalal. The thread leads the pilgrim to the sky, but it's a thread scattered with knots. Here's one ahead, this fresco. It seemed to announce something terrible, and yet the order of the skulls seemed to have a meaning. The 3 wheels represented cycles. The pilgrim had to align them in the right order to pass. I was confused. The lock was tangling the thread of my story. The knot in the thread came undone. I watched my son resume his story. I remembered. Echo's birth had changed my vision of the world. He incarnated the kindness of the stars. He inspired me. Here was the prison. The monks had dedicated their lives to protecting the temple. To punish those who threatened it was part of their mission. Who does that breath belong to? Asked Echo. To a sleeper who must remain asleep, replied the egg. said I told you to always be careful. As if he had just dreamt of it. He was about to seize it. I had to act quickly.